into the world.
Yes.
He has afforded me the opportunity to travel almost all of the Bahamian islands. Been to Canada, been to India, been to some parts of the United States, and a few places in the Caribbean.
Right.
I had to have faith to believe that God would open the door. I do not try to promote myself.
Exactly.
I believe that word of mouth is very important. I believe that when one person sees it and they're blessed, they will spread it. And so the faith that I have says to me that what I'm doing is making a difference, and it's going to touch somebody, and that is one of the reasons why I continue. If I didn't believe this was making an impact, I'll be honest with you, I would have stopped by now, because it's
We
not.
can't afford that. We can't have that, right? It was some love. We can't have that. Now, Dynamite Daisy, Lynn Therese Davis.
Yes, sir.
If you were allowed to take only 3 books with you on a long-distance flight, what would those 3 books be?
Wow. First of all, my Bible.
Yes.
And some people may say that's a cliche. It's really not for me. Because in God's word, I find that's where I get my strength. So my Bible will be the first book. I would also take a blank book. I would take a notebook.
Okay. Yes.
Because I believe that as ideas come to my mind,
Jot it down.
I need to write it down.
Yes.
And the third book I would take would be probably a book on relationships.
Okay.
And not only just male, female, or husband-wife relationships, but a book that deals with how to interact with people, how to build stronger relationships with people, because I believe that that's one of the reasons we have so much problems today. Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. We need to learn how to deal with other people. You know, there are some persons who they're really pushing this whole thing about being tolerant these days. I believe in celebrating other people. There are some things that you may do in your life that I do not agree with.
Right.
I don't believe that I have to agree with you on everything, but I do believe I have to learn to respect you, and hopefully you'll do the same for me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Good stuff. Good stuff. This show is seen in all throughout the Caribbean, and of course here in the Bahamas where we are tonight. What can you say to the young people who would be interested in having a career like you as a comedian in the wider Caribbean and right here in the Bahamas? What advice can you give them? Because there's no road maps, basically, but what advice can you give them?
I think the first thing I would tell them is they've got to be convinced that this is what they are called to do. Don't go into the entertainment industry because you believe that it's glitz and glamour, because it's not. Don't go into it because you believe that a lot of money is into it or in it, because sometimes it's not. I've been doing this for 11 years and it's not been easy. I still thank God for my parents.
Yes.
Who've helped me and supported me, because sometimes you have a show that makes it, and sometimes your show doesn't. So I would tell them, so as to not be dashed and disappointed, make sure that this is what you want to do. I would also say to them, if after you believe that this is what you want to do, and you've confirmed with God that this is a part of His plan for you, then get around some people who believe in what you are trying to do. Now, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Finlayson, if nobody believes you're funny, maybe this is not what you need to do. You understand what I'm saying? And be honest enough to accept that if everybody says, you know something, you pretty, you're handsome, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're spiritual, but you ain't funny. Try something else, just do this on the side. But I would encourage persons to, if this is what you believe you are to do, then go after it and have patience and have determination. It does not come overnight.
No.
And you also have to have some resilience, and you have to be able to bounce back.
Yes, definitely,
all right?
definitely.
So that when sometimes you feel like you failed, you go ahead and you try it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Give us some love. How, as Dynamite Daisy, how do you make the transformation from Lynn Therese Davis into Dynamite Daisy? How do you get into character? You have an event coming up, you're Lynn Davis.
Yes.
And at 9 o'clock you become Dynamite Daisy. How do you make the transition to get into character?
By the grace of God. how do I make the transition? Well, as I begin to put on my makeup, as I begin to look at myself changing before my very eyes, I begin to, I don't want to slip into her now, but I begin to talk like her, and believe it or not, I begin to think like her. I begin to do the body movements or gestures that invoke her. I also sometimes listen to, I have an entrance music, so I listen to the type of music that helps me to become her, and that music is usually a Bahamian rake and scrape Jonkanu, and I use gospel, and yes, it just helps me to kind of feel a little more bouncy. But guess what? There are times when I don't feel like her. I've had to mix.
How do you deal with that?
Oh man, that's not easy. I remember a couple weeks ago I had an experience. I had someone die. I had a funeral that morning, and this was someone that I knew and respected and loved, and then I had to do Daisy that night. And so that day I was in a very somber mood, and to try to create her that night, that's why I started off by saying by the grace of God.
Right, yes.
I'm serious with that.
Yes.
It takes God's help. There are some persons who, before they go on stage, you know what they do? They tank up. They drink.
Really?
I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there are some performers who take a little hit before they go on the stage. They need something.
Right.
I take a little hit too, but it's just not the alcohol.
Right.
I take a hit and I pray.
Yes.
And this is what I do. I pray before every time I mount the stage to become Daisy. I pray because I need inspiration.
Yes.
I need courage, and I need to become a lighter person, because my job is to help other people to become light at that moment. So that's what I do.
Oh, yes, give us some love. Well, can you do one final thing for us tonight here? Can you get into that character just
My
for 2
gracious.
minutes?
Oh, my gracious.
Just for a minute. Just get into that character.
Oh, Mr. Finlayson.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, get into that character that we know. Dynamite.
Wow. Okay, get into that character. I thought you was gonna allow me to stay dressed up,
Yeah,
you know?
no, get into that the way you are. The way you are.
I'll get into that character.
Mr. Finlayson, I want you to tell the Caribbean, do this for me. Tell them that I took a drink, but I didn't swallow none of what I drank.
Give us some love. Give us some love. Give us some love. Dynamite Daisy, Lynn Therese Davis, this has been a treat, and I want to thank you very much for being with us tonight on Dare to Be Great. I'm sure the people in the wider Caribbean will appreciate this, and of course, us in the Bahamas. Thank you very much. Dare to Be Great. My guest has been Lynn Therese Davis, better known as Dynamite Daisy. This is Spence Finlayson for Dare to Be Great. See you next time.
You can see it, you can be it. Dare to be great. Be the best that you can be. Dare to be great.
This was the Dare to Be Great show with Master Motivator, Spence Finlayson. And for more information on the show and the Phoenix Institute, call 242-364-4011 or visit us online at www.daretobegreatshow.tv.